Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Stock Market Today. My name is Ken Shreve. On today's show, of course, we'll talk about a big up day for the market. I see oil prices down sharply, but before we get into what happened in the stock market today, I'll throw it over to my colleague, Ed Carson, who's got 3 stocks to watch today.
Yeah, 3 stocks. Good afternoon, everyone. One of them is not a stock. It's the solar ETF TAN, but also want to take a look at Academy Sports and Republic Services.
Okay, very good. Well, a lot of good action in individual stocks today, and it was a bit curious to me to see crude oil down almost 6% today to just under or just over $81 a barrel, lowest close since January. But yet we have the Nasdaq Composite up more than 2% on the day. Is this the start of something meaningful, or is it just what they would call a dead cat bounce here?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that we were overdue for a bounce. The Nasdaq had been down 7 straight days, and before that had been selling off. Really, we've been sliding since August 16th when the S&P almost came up to its 200-day line. So we were due. There was a nice action today. One issue is that now we're getting close to the 50-day line. There's a lot of resistance levels to come up on. So the market's got its bounce. So what happens? I mean, we could continue to bounce, but then what happens when we hit the 50-day line or the 21-day line? And that's just a precursor, even if it does get above that, to the 200-day line. So definitely not out of the woods. It was nice to have this bounce, but we'll have to see if it can continue.
Well, those hoping that volume would return to the market after the Labor Day holiday were left disappointed, because it does look like we're going to have Nasdaq volume coming in below what we saw on Tuesday, and same with NYSE volume. So a lower volume rally today. Why don't we next go to the S&P 500, Ed, and that was not up 2%, but still a solid gain at the close, up 1.8% in lower volume. And then the Dow, up more than 400 points, ends with a gain of 1.4%. And then small caps pretty much kept pace with the Nasdaq today. Russell 2000 up 2% or so. So there we have it. And then I know bond yields, Ed. I know Fed Lael Brainerd spoke today. Anything that she said that moved markets, and didn't see much movement in the 10-year yield today.
Well, no, I mean, and the 10-year yield pulled back, but obviously we're still well above the 10-day line, which shows you that uptrend is still intact. Still very close to 11-year highs. Lael Brainerd, the vice chair, she basically reinforced arguments for a 75 basis point hike, the 3rd straight. That'll be coming up on September 21st. That's what markets are basically pricing in. It'll be interesting to see what happens after that meeting, because then the markets are pricing in 2/4 point hikes, and that might be it. And then the Fed just keeps rates high for a long time. I mean, that's a big question. So next week we'll get the CPI. That, the CPI and the Fed meeting, those are the big things for the Treasury yield. Don't really know how that's going to go.
Big inflation report next week, consumer price, and then right after that will be the producer price index, right?
Yeah, and so I see. And the good news is that headline inflation should be coming down. I mean, that's one nice thing about the oil prices coming down, and natural gas prices coming down, and gasoline prices coming down. We're going to see the headline inflation coming down a lot on a lot of things. Food prices should be coming down. Car prices are coming down. There's definitely some factors like rents that are going up, but there's a lot of reasons why at least headline inflation should be coming down.
Yeah, well, pretty good breadth in the market. At last check, we had Nasdaq breadth close to 3-to-1 positive, and the ratio was even a little better on the NYSE with breadth close to 4-to-1 positive. All right, well, let's take a look at one area of the market that just rose in spades. A lot of action in this group, and it has been doing well for a while. But the Invesco Solar ETF, which trades under the ticker symbol TAN, Ed, solar stocks just up across the board today.
Yeah, it was really strong gains. I mean, that's been the #1 group for a long time. The TAN ETF bounced off its 50-day line yesterday, but the market was still going down. It was still below the 21-day line, but today was just, with the market at its back, this leading group could really, let's say, they could shine, and it broke above the 21-day line, broke above, a trend line, that you could argue you could draw, and really showed strength here. So this was added to Swing Trader. This was our stock of the day. It's a little less volatile than say buying an individual stock, though you are going to get some big moves up and down with this name.
And of course, Enphase is the top-rated stock in TAN, and Enphase had an extraordinary day, up huge, ticker ENPH here, and you can see a little nice strong breakout over the 300 level in heavy volume today. So broad-based strength in the solar group. All right, next up, we're going to take a look at a retailer that, well, on the surface, another quarter of declining earnings and sales, and but the market seemed to like the earnings report from Academy Sports and Outdoor, Ed.
Yeah, and it's been pretty positive reaction to all the sporting goods chains, but this one really strong. Academy Sports rebounding from the 50-day line. You could argue this is a handle on a pretty deep base, but a handle broke the trend line pretty decisively, huge volume, rebounding from the 50-day line. Maybe early on in the day when it was getting above its 21-day line, it was actionable. To me, it feels a little extended here. It seems like you'd want to wait for it to try to pause here or near the buy point and consolidate for a little while because it's getting pretty extended from say the 50-day line and such. But really nice action here. They raised full year guidance, so that I think was a big reason why Academy Sports took off today.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw their CEO interviewed on CNBC today. It was interesting because you did have a second quarter in a row of declining earnings and sales, but their full-year earnings guidance was pretty good, nicely above expectations. Revenue guidance appeared to be in line, but one thing the CEO said was that their inventories were only up 8%. So that is a lot better than what other retailers with bloated inventories have been talking about. So that I think was a bright spot as well. So Academy Sports, bright spot in retail. Finally, let's take a look at well, some of these trash stocks are also acting very well. Broad-based leadership in the group. Republic Services, RSG. What do you like here, Ed?
Well, I mean, you can say, "Oh, it's what a boring stock," but this is really outperforming the market in recent months. I mean, strong RS line, not just for a day or two. So you can see that real trend. That's positive. Solid growth. There's been, pretty solid growth on the earnings and sales. That's continuing next year. Strong volume today. Rebound off the 21-day line. Got back above a buy point. If you wanted to treat this as a high handle, you're breaking the trend line of the high handle. There's a lot of reasons why you could have bought this today. Strong volume yesterday, and the group is doing really well. It's 29 out of 197, but there's a lot of stocks in this group, including those that are specifically more in waste collection, like waste management. Those stocks are doing quite well as well. So it's nice to see, just like with solar, it's nice to see a group doing well. And when you're targeting individual stocks.
Yeah. Also, while we are talking about this group, WCN Waste Connections, I know, was another interesting stock that made a nice move in the group. It is kind of working on a cup with handle base. I think it closed just above the buy point. Yeah, here it is. You can see it tried to break out and close just above that 144 and change pivot. So yeah, broad-based strength in this industry group, and I'll say for a nice up day for the market. Light volume notwithstanding, there were some actionable stocks that came across our screens today. So, Ed, want to thank you very much for the insight. Appreciate it as always. And folks, you can join Ed tomorrow if you haven't yet. Thursday, he's our IBD Live guy, and he'll be joined by the normal crew. That's Thursday. We start things up about 10 minutes before the market open every day. So if you haven't checked it out, investors.com/IBD Live. Until then, I will be back here tomorrow with Justin. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.